Are you here to listen to El Numero Uno? Or are you here to listen to the American Kaiju? From the land of the rising sun, you're listening to the Osaka Saint, the Saitama Superstar, the Mad Titan of Tokyo, the American Kaiju. Welcome to the Hogscast Red and Black. What's up, Hogs Pack? Welcome back to another episode of the Hogscast Red and Black. I am your host, the one and only American Kaiju, as you heard in that beautiful intro. Joining with me, as always, is the what are we calling you? The Sam's Club brand, the Rite Aid brand, the knockoff version of Conrad Thompson.
I guess you call me whatever you like. This is your
It's
podcast.
not producer. It's not producer Adam. Welcome back, not producer Adam. Thank you for helping. Thank you for everything you do. How was your weekend?
Me?
Don't give a shit. All right, moving on. We were gonna have Duke couldn't make it, obviously, as you know, he's out in Philadelphia shoveling snow, and then I think Mike said he was going to join the Zoom call in about, what do you say, an hour and a half, something like that. So
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
he'll be on shortly. I know he's had some technical difficulties getting on and joining us, but I actually did want to talk about something that happened this weekend. The Rumble was there. I loved it. I loved the Rumble this weekend. I had a good time. I told you one of my favorite Rumbles in a long time. I know that you really enjoyed last year's. Obviously, Edge came back and surprised you. He's one of your favorites. Won the whole damn thing. Spoiler alert. But this is the first time in a long time that I thought it felt like there was so many stars in the ring at the same time, which was nostalgic for me, because as a kid, when you're watching, you're like, oh shit, well, there's Hogan, and then there's $1 Million Man, and then there's Ultimate Warrior, and Shawn and Brett, and the whole gamut of guys is in there. And this was the first time that there were 15 people left or something like that. I'm like, dude, everyone in the ring is a stud right now. So left me guessing until the end. The swerve at the end was nice, but I liked watching Bobby Lashley launch Dominic to the moon. That was fantastic. Great sell, great bump from that kid. He's going places. He's going up. He's going up, and then he came down. He did it really well. It looks safe. So good for him. I was really happy about that. Shirts. Oh, wait a minute. We advertised on where do we advertise, Adam? What was the name of the show?
GCW Fight Forever.
Never heard of them. GCW, making waves apparently. But yeah, advertised on Fight Forever. And we were trying to have the shirts available by the time this episode aired. They might be available. They were submitted 24 hours ago. I was told that they should be approved within 24 to 48 hours. So if you want to support the podcast, you want to support the tag team, Mike and myself, go to prowrestlingtees.com/the Hogsman. And there's 4 different t-shirts there for you to choose from. We posted those on the Instagram account 2 weeks ago. And
whenever we released the first episode.
The first episode, right? So we can release those again. So you get a chance to take a look at those and provide you with the link in case /the Hogsman was too hard for you to remember. But good shit. Actually, no, I put 5 on there. I have the original Hogsman shirt on there as well, the Hogsman OG shirt. So hopefully these vaccinations start going through, shows start picking up, and you can purchase these in person. But that's still a long ways off.
Maybe about a month or two, I think.
You think so? A month or two before shows start happening live?
I think once WrestleMania happens and there's a crowd and there's a whole weekend where there's a bunch of shows, I think every other place is going to be like, fuck it, let's just do something.
Do you think they're going to be allowed to have all the other shows surrounding it?
WrestleMania weekend? Absolutely. In Florida, they can do whatever the fuck they want. There's no I mean, wrestling shows will obviously have mask mandates and testing and whatnot, but Florida in general, there's no mask mandate. There's no any of that.
That's super interesting. I wonder how that's going to go. When they had said that they're going to do WrestleMania in front of a live crowd, I hadn't even thought about WrestleMania weekend accompanying it yet. I didn't think that there'd be a way to push that through.
They might not. No one's announced anything yet. You would think that it would get announced pretty quickly that something else is happening, but I think also no one really knows what that weekend will entail. Like, if you have a show on Friday, or indie show, like, is WWE going to have a SmackDown taping that Friday with a crowd? If they're not, like, that could impact ticket sales. If it's still on the Thunderdome, you could probably make some money running shows on a Friday. And then Mania's on Saturday and Sunday. So
they're doing they're doing the 2-day split Mania weekend.
2-night thing. Yep.
Interesting. And that was something that we had been lobbying for a while.
That's what New Japan is doing now, and it seems to work for them. It helps, I guess, with the, getting burnt out on that weekend.
Dude, a couple years ago when we did New Orleans, that was one of the that was a shit fest. That was like a 9-hour show, it felt like. And then, you're all hyped up. You're trying to beat the crowds. You get there early and you let yourself in. Look, the bar's open. Yeah. Let's have a couple drinks, or 3 or 4. And then the show starts and you go, wow, I'm getting a hangover from the drinks I had 3 hours ago. This is terrible.
And at that point, I was hilariously overweight. I was in bad shape physically, so I was just a miserable wreck trying to do all the indie shows, and then and then going with you where you're like, hey, you want to go drink? And I'm like, that's the last thing I want to do right now.
I loved it. That was the first time that I'd done. No, it's not the first time I'd done Mania Week and stuff. I take that back. But that was the first time I got to see many of the athletes live that I wanted to check out.
I think that's really the first time you did it where it was like a thing, because we kind of did it in Arizona in 2010, but it really wasn't a thing yet. Like Mania Weekend is like more of like a thing now, where there's all these shows surrounding it, like a lot of shit. Like, I think when we went in 2010, there was some stuff, but it was like ROH and stuff like that.
You guys, it was ROH and Dragon Gate. You guys give me shit. Everyone gives me shit for my ideas. I'm an idea guy, right? My brain is constantly spinning. I'm creative. I'm a creative person, unfortunately. So a lot of the ideas I come up with are bad, but several of them are good. I tried to make a Rumble weekend happen in Phoenix several years ago when Zealot was running their first show. It was a tournament. I ended up winning the Zealot Championship that weekend, but Zealot Pro Championship that weekend. I tried to make it happen to where, like, dude, Royal Rumble is gonna be in, was it Chase Field? Is that what they call? Chase Field. I think anytime you've got WWE running in a stadium or a ballpark, fuck it. I say do it. Do a Mania Weekend style event that weekend. If they're gonna be bringing in 50,000 people are coming in from all across the world for that too, or at least from the US.
Yeah.
I think it's appropriate to go ahead and do a Mania style weekend, but I did try to put something together, and I hope that once this is all over, that becomes the norm. That
it was kind of becoming the norm. Like, they had done, like, last year they had like a Royal Rumble weekend thing when it was in Houston. Like, it was becoming a thing, but like everything this year, shit last just year, kind of come to that. Still this year, we're still in it.
Yeah, that's right. This is just a 2020.1.
Yeah, we're in the 14th month of 2020 right now. Is what people
I mentioned last week my new obsession was Pokemon, the trading card game online.
I'm sure everyone's waiting to hear more about that.
I received some shit about that, but one thing I didn't do that I should have is hey, come at me. That's what I want to say. Come at me.
Who gave you shit?
There was a couple people that gave me shit. I don't remember who they were.
Call them out.
I don't remember. I legitimately don't remember who they were. It came out the day after the episode, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. I have fun with it. Anyway, I didn't say, come in, open challenge. My username on there is American Kaiju. Come find me and come start some shit. So, but I have a new obsession this week. So my obsession this week was the GameStop frenzy, the stock market frenzy. Holy shit. This is what was keeping me up at night, just reading everything that was going on, market manipulation, all these crazy, retail, the regular Joe traders trying to collapse hedge funds. It's some crazy shit. And now it looks like they're eating shit. The stock came crashing down. It went up to like $470, down to like $80 today.
When it comes crashing down, does it hurt inside?
It hurts inside, but you got to be a man, okay? You don't have to hide. I hope. I guess the only thing they could do now to fight back is hold on to their shares. God, I want to see something come of that. It's so interesting. So
Well, that's what's
intriguing.
apparently happening now is like these guys could easily cash out, but they're literally doing it like fuck you guys, Wall Street guys. We're just gonna hold these stocks so the stock price never goes down.
Well, the problem is, I think most people got in super late because they saw it going up, up,
Yeah.
up, and there was. I'm not going to bore anyone. I'm going to cut this real short, but it happened. Something similar happened to Volkswagen in 2008, where the stock price ended up going. They got squeezed and it went up to like $800 or 1,000 or more than that. Everyone got paid big fucking money. So that's what they're hoping for this time around, and they made it happen briefly. And then Robinhood shut their ass down, and other trading venues they shut them down. So I'm still rooting for them. I'm up late. I'm reading articles. I'm just completely fucking fascinated. I hope you guys check it out. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's fascinating. Questions, Adam. We had some questions that came in this week. Let's cover those before we go into the main event for the evening.
The big surprise of the episode.
Well, is it a surprise?
I mean, we teased it. We gave him a little tease, but we didn't really give all the details.
We gave him the tip. We didn't give him the whole hog.
That's true. All right. So these questions were asked on Instagram. Starting next week, I'm going to put up a dual question thing where it can be for the OG or the red and black. So that way this one has enough time to get questions in for that one too.
Got it.
All right. Canna Pro Show commented, if you could name the hottest new marijuana strain after yourself, what would you call it?
This is the Kaiju Kush. That's easy. Easy money. Print
Too
it
sweet.
at the next show. Kaiju Kush. How do you do it? Buy it in a pound? Pound at a time. Is it like nuggets? You just buy it in a 6-piece? I'll take a 6-piece of the Kaiju Kush, please.
How do you buy drugs? How do you do that?
How do you buy the drugs?
Do you just go on the Amazon and buy them?
Yeah, I do that all the time. I go into Amazon, I just search drugs.
And then a guy in a suit shows up at your door and says, "Excuse me, sir."
And I hope nothing bad happens to me. Yeah, that's right.
That's true. All right. DTF Abel says, what is one stipulation match that you've never competed in that you would want to try?
Well, first I would say follow through with your commitments, DTF. You said you wanted to try some promo stuff that you quit on very shortly after starting. So I would say follow through on your commitments. And then as far as a gimmick match, cage match, you gotta be a cage match. I've always wanted to do a cage match. Never been able to do one. Dying to do a cage match. But the problem is I really want to do the old school cage, the blue one that's no one likes and says is painful and is probably locked away forever. I don't think anyone has that anymore. I don't know if you can build one, but I think the blue ones were so fucking hardcore. And the cages now, I don't know, they look so nice. they look so cushioned. They look very nice, springy.
That's the big problem everyone has with WWE. Everything just looks too pretty. Like,
yeah, man. The blue one looked pretty too. But it looked like they were going to hell. When you got slammed into, I mean, it was two massive walls that were connected in the middle and they would shake apart from each other by a chain or whatever it was. God, and just climbing the cage looked better. You could do more spots off of that. Getting your legs caught in there and whatnot. It was just a great look. And I feel like it was better for the crowd. There's less in the way. And the bars were a little thicker. But if you're sitting, 20 rows back or 60 rows back, whatever the case is, you can see through the bars to see the wrestlers in the ring, as opposed to now there's so much mesh and stuff in the corners that it looks a little. I think
for a fan in the crowd, cage match is probably their least favorite because it's like the hardest to see. Like,
yeah.
Like I remember when I saw the Hell in a Cell in Dallas and I was really far away and I was like, I can kind of see what's happening, but I'm also just looking at the camera because I can't really see through the cage.
Yeah, I mean, again, my favorite match I ever saw live, you were there as well, not with me, but we found out later that we went to the same show, was the Taboo Tuesday in San Diego, where it was Flair versus Triple H for the Intercontinental title. It was phenomenal. I got
scolded by an old lady at that show.
You deserved it.
I said to person sitting next to me is, oh, he's He's gigging right now, which is the term for when they cut themselves. And she turns around, she jokingly says, "Hey, don't ruin the magic."
You old ass lady knew what it was. This old lady knew what it was, and it ruined the magic for who she was with.
I guess.
Or there's 6-year-olds in the crowd that are like, "Ah, shit, he said gigging. I know what's happening."
Oh, yeah. He's really bleeding, guys. I mean, he is really bleeding, but he really was busted open by that cage.
That was a great match. I'm gonna go back and watch that on the network. By the way, that network's going away, right?
It's not going away. It's going to Peacock, which you've refused to sign up for. So,
well, they're not a sponsor.
I'm sure you'll come. I'm sure you'll come to me and get my login information for that one too.
So if you have the network and can you buy a year subscription or whatever?
Well, the network is going away, so
I know, but if you bought in advance, can you transfer that over to Peacock? Did they say anything about that?
I don't even know if they do it like that anymore. I don't even know if they do. I think they just do month to month now. I don't think they do yearly subscriptions. But I'm sure people are going to get refunds.
That's probably good call.
Yes.
Next question.
Next question is from _Mao_10. He says, "Would you rather win a Royal Rumble or a Money in the Bank match?" #Axe the Hogsman.
Royal Rumble, hands down. That has so much more prestige. I hate the Money in the Bank matches. I've never liked them. They're not interesting to me. They did the first 2 or 3, and I thought they were phenomenal. And then, we've gotten into talking about things that are overproduced. And now you watch the Money in the Bank matches, and it's like, I feel like you've seen it all at this point. I'm sure there's super creative guys out there that can pop off and do whatever. Was it a Money in the Bank match we saw at NXT takeover before?
No, just a ladder match for
that was phenomenal.
That was really good.
So that was phenomenal as well. So, but I do prefer just the one-on-one ladder matches.
You say that, but this year they had the most unique Money in the Bank match they've ever had, or last year, where it was literally just a cinematic match where they battled through Titan Tower to get to the top of the building to get the briefcases.
That's where Ray died, right?
Yeah, that's where Ray died and someone else died.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
He just recently re-signed with the company, he said today.
Good for him, man. Maybe they'll get that father-son tag title thing going.
I'd hope so. If you're listening, Bruce Pritchard, make it happen.
Well, Conrad, you tell him.
Take your pill, Bruce. All right. And this last question is from Petey. Mike didn't.
Probably gonna be really good then, right?
It's gonna be a great question. Mike was close to banning Petey from asking questions for a while.
Okay,
he decided to not. Stiff hidden request today. Could you rank every NWO member by what you think the size of their hog is?
Fantastic. Eat that band, Petey. Next.
Just so you know, Mike was convinced that Bischoff has the smallest wiener of all of them.
Really? Sure. Let's go with that. I'll go with that.
Yeah. You don't want to take shots at people who might be your boss someday.
That's right. Hogan, or Hog in, as he's known in the business. Damn it, I just answered Petey's shitty question. Let's move on.
Well, it's not even a guess with Hogan. There's evidence that you could find out.
Oh shit! I've never seen it. How was it?
Neither have I.
5-star classic.
No. He doesn't have those. That's it for the questions.
Tanned and ghastly gills. I disagree. I think his match with Ultimate Warrior was very good. I think it was 5 stars for the time.
You can think it all you want.
And what about his match with The Rock?
It's Cody Rhodes' favorite match of all time.
It's very good. I mean, you don't have to do all the crazy shit that Kenny Omega does. I mean, if you have the crowd behind you, that can be just as magical. So,
sure.
Anyway, so the main event for tonight, we teased it last week. Actually, I think we just pretty much spilled the damn beans, but next week on the episode, on the Hogscast Red and Black, we're gonna have the winners. But today we are unveiling the nominees for the first annual Hoggy Awards. first annual Hoggy Awards. So this is Hogsman podcast history going back to the very beginning of last year, right? We just celebrated our 1 year anniversary. It would have been nice to have done this in person with Mike, but things being what they are, I'm up here in San Jose for the time being. So this is what we've got.
And if you're wondering why there's no pomp and circumstance to all this, viewers, it's because I have yet to even hear the nominees yet.
Oh, well, I can't tell you because I don't want you to have an opinion on it. Because listen, you might be upset when the winners are announced. I don't know. I'm not leaving it up to just me, but mainly me. I think we should allow the listeners to have a vote, but I can overrule the vote. So we'll host the vote. Well, here's the deal. My vote counts for 1,000 votes. Okay. I just have that. I swing in there and I go, I'm putting the stamp on it.
So
seal the election.
Let me just get this straight. So if you put a vote out there and everybody votes for it and that loses, you're going to do the thing where you go, I won by a lot.
I won by so fucking much. That's exactly what I'm doing. So,
and in reality, this time you can actually change the result of the vote.
Right. So I actually plan on not voting on these unless the people don't vote enough or they get it entirely fucking wrong. If they're just like, oh man, this is the answer. I go, I'm really sorry that you were huffing paint before this episode because it's not the right answer. And then I will give them the right answer. So we've got 5 categories or 6 categories, starting with, this is the only one that's not person related, but this is best story. This is best story on the Hogsman podcast over the last year. Starting with the episode that has been a running theme throughout all of our episodes, and it started with Mike shitting his pants. Mike told the story about shitting his pants at a battle royal at SoCal Pro, and then proceeded to ask every person that we've ever had on the podcast if they've shit their pants in the ring. So, Mike, if it wasn't for you shitting your pants, half these episodes would be just us burping and farting and cussing at each other. But thanks to you taking one for the team, leaving some skid marks in your chonies, we have shit to talk, literally shit to talk about. So thank you for that. I got 2 of my own in there. This is just because I'm self-deprecating, but I'm not going to go into detail, but there was a Colt Cabana story that I told at the beginning of last year, maybe February or so. I'm going to leave it at that. If you want to find it, you can find it. The other one would be me being too dumb to realize what's a work and what's a shoot, and having snug forearms in Japan. That was another good one. Outside of that, though, 2 of my favorite stories on the podcast came from Yuma. Yuma, which this actually popped up recently, taking a Steenalizer through the turnbuckle at Kurt WrestleMania 2, PWG's Kurt WrestleMania 2, where he flew out of the ring, Steenalizer through the middle rope, out of the ring, and people thought he died, including myself. I was super glad that I asked that question when he was on the podcast because I always wanted to know the story. It was great, and we just posted it recently on the Hogsman at Hogsman Pod on Twitter. It was recirculated or whatever, so you can check it out. It was a brief story. I think it was cut down to like a minute or so. But the reason it got brought up is because someone had posted a picture from the show, and I called on, was it Cozy Superkick, who was on the show before, who was fanatical about PWG and posts all types of GIFs. He went back and found the GIF. You can go find it on the Hogsman Pod or my own Twitter account at American Kaiju and watch Kevin Steen, now Kevin Owens, Steenalizing Yuma, very ripped and shredded and young Yuma, out of the fucking ring. Just blew my mind in person. It was incredible. The other one, this is the last nomination for best story, was Yuma did a One Direction match against Kurt Angle. I forget which member of One Direction it was, but they at a concert. For some reason, they teamed up with TNA at the time, and he called out Kurt Angle and went on to under a hood, slid under the ring, I think it was, and then Yuma came out, wrestled Kurt Angle as this One Direction band member. It was a great story. Everything from meeting Kurt in the back to Kurt wanting to take shit from him, to the response from the fans crying, thinking that you was this One Direction member getting beat by an Olympic gold medalist. Great story. So those are the nominations for best story.
I believe it was Harry Styles, by the way.
Harry Styles, fantastic. Yeah. I don't even know. I think he said he couldn't even find the video on YouTube for the longest time. So hopefully it's somewhere and you can find it. Fuck, man, Yuma is a story machine, so the guy can go. I want to have him on again. Now that we're doing this, if Mike wants to join us, he can. I know he's having technical difficulties. Just got a text from him saying, "Hold on, Hogs, on my way." So yeah, man, I'd love to have him on again. Oh, that was something I was going to say. Let me cut back into my own story here. I know that the purpose of this was to only do like half-hour episodes, just addendums to the original Hogsman podcast. Mike is still interviewing people in person. He doesn't like the Zoom call atmosphere. I think there's plenty of people that I know that I've wrestled, that I'm friendly with or friends with, that are very big names in professional wrestling for MLW, Ring of Honor, NXT, WWE, you name it. Impact, that I think we would be easy to get on the show. So if that's something you're interested in, if you like that, that interview atmosphere and you want to hear from some of those people, leave a comment or let us know. And we can do that too. We can make additional episodes that are just these, long form interviews for you guys to enjoy. And that way you can send some questions in advance as well. So, but that was best story. So those were the nominations for best story. Adam, you can post that on the Instagram and Twitter account and have people vote.
I believe I can do the voting thing on Twitter. I don't know how to do it on Instagram.
Well, just leave a comment and vote.
Sure.
Leave a comment and vote. So you post some pictures, and if
make sure to send these to me so I remember them.
I will do that. And if you get it wrong, I will come in and save the day. And I will affirm that my position on the matter was correct. So get it right. That's all I'm saying. Get it right.
He's going to make the American Kaiju great again.
The American Kaiju's never been not great, as far as I can.
You know what I was doing there.
I got what you did. It was a Trump thing, huh?
Who?
That's right. Don't want to get canceled. All right. Next one. There's several here that I'm trying to figure out the best way to go. This one I have as most over. Most over. Now, you can think of this a couple of ways. Who you liked the most of the guests that we've had on, who had the most momentum when they came on the podcast, who had the most momentum after they left the podcast. But I wanted to start with Carlo Cannon. You might not remember him because it was very early into the quarantine of last year, very early. I think he was our first Zoom interview that we did, but he's a phenomenal wrestler out in Australia, and he went viral right as shit was hitting the fan for, I forget which country it is now. It's gonna bug the shit out of me, but he German suplexed this poor young soul into outer space, and he went flying literally from one turnbuckle to the other, and it was fantastic, and it caught fire. And the wrestling world loved it and ate it up and chewed it and made a ton of GIFs and memes and videos and parodies, and it was fantastic. And Carl is a great guy. Go find him on Instagram and Twitter. He's a pro wrestling school that he has out in Melbourne, and he's doing I think like Zoom classes as well. He's very successful with it, so go check it out. But I thought, man, for going into this, he was the last person to go viral in wrestling before shit hit the fan. Then we had MLW's, was it open weight champion? I think that's what it is. Well, Alexander Hammerstone. Guy is fucking tweet machine. Everyone likes his shit. He blows up. He's always in the center of controversy. And now he's wrestling again. He's a great wrestler, funnier than fuck. So how do you think he's been since the pod? I think last time we talked to him on the podcast, he wasn't wrestling. After we did the podcast, boom, he is wrestling. So little momentum there. Dominic Mysterio. When he started on the podcast, I don't even think he had a job yet. After the podcast, boom, he's wrestling on Survivor Series. Was it Survivor Series?
There was SummerSlam was his
SummerSlam. Okay. SummerSlammer Survivor Series. That's what I call it. Making big waves in the WWE. So much so that his father started wrestling too. So, Hogsmen have done a very good job at propelling his career. And those are the three I'm going with right now for most over. Is there anyone else that I'm leaving off that perhaps should have been mentioned?
Benny,
yeah.
His episode was one of our most listened to.
Okay, that's right. So I had Benny nominated for something else, but let's put Benny on there. B-Boy, as you know him, the New Age Punisher. He's been around for 20 years in the business, wrestled everyone and their mother.
There's a wrestler you like. Benny's probably wrestled them at some point.
He's probably wrestled them and given them one of their best matches. He owns Level Up and is the head trainer there. He also he's allowed us to use Level Up, the studio portion of it, to get this podcast off the ground. So he's over in my book. Hopefully you like him as well. But most over, that is the category. The nominations, once again: Carlo Cannon, Dominic Mysterio, Alexander Hammerstone, and B-Boy, the New Age Punisher. Are you with me so far, Adam?
I'm here.
You're looking like
I'm with you to the end of the line, pal.
Hold. All right, this is going to be easy. Best guest. So I've got Yuma, who's been on twice. We had Benny, who hit record numbers. Dominic Mysterio, obviously record numbers.
3 times.
3 times?
Dominic's
right.
Dominic's been on 3
wasn't
times.
there. I wasn't there. So thank you for that. Heather Monroe, the first lady of the Hogsman podcast. I'd like to get some more women on the show and get their perspective. And, there's a lot of shows that they wrestle on that we don't wrestle on, that I don't even know how politics work in those shows. So I'd like to hear more of that. Yeah, those are my nominations for best guest. Do you have a favorite out of those?
I mean, I produced 2 of the Dominic episodes, so I'm going to say that's my particular favorites.
Interesting. Cool, dude. Well, I don't want to have to vote right now. Tip my hand, but figure it out.
I love Yuma. He's one of my friends in the business, so I like him too, but
okay. All right. The following.
Did you want me to say someone else? Who did you want me to say?
Devin, the American Kaiju.
But you're not.
Did I put myself on them?
You're the host of the show.
I'm a guest in my own home now. I have to do my own separate podcast. So who's not a guest now?
I don't know.
Best non-hog. There was some confusion when we first started the podcast. People were calling Hunter a hog. He's not a hog. I want to make that clear. Hunter Freeman is not a hog. People thought that B-Boy was a hog. He's not a hog. I love him, but not a hog. And then Hops had dropped in on several episodes as well. Enough so that I thought, well, he could be confused as a hog. He's not a hog. I just want to make that very clear. So now you get the opportunity to vote on who you believe is the best non-hog as a part of the Hogsman podcast. Do you have a favorite for that? Don't say it. Send it to me through ESP.
Okay.
Wrong. That was the wrong answer. All right. This one you might have a particular interest in. Adam, I'm not going to allow you to vote. That would be cheating.
It says
best producer.
But I'm not a producer.
You're not a producer.
That's what you've said multiple times.
You're not producer, Adam. But even though you're not a producer, you have somehow mistakenly, accidentally produced this show. So best producer, we're going to put Adam, not producer Adam. Ted, former producer of the show, Ted Woods, who helped us get set up with all of our social media accounts. And then Mike. Mike actually produced the first 4 or 5 shows on his phone. So true. Mike is absolutely a producer. Now, I don't know if you want to piss off the boss, Adam. So you might want to think about
he won't even know.
I know he's not going to listen to this episode. Who the fuck am I kidding? Lastly, because he's not listening to the episode, this is probably the most important vote of your life. Now, I want you to think about this in terms of the last election, how it swayed the country, how it created a frenzy and people stormed the Capitol. This is very similar, Adam. I know you're thinking this is going to be controversial. You have to decide You have to take the time now to think about who you are voting for Best Hog. The nominations are El Numero Uno, Mike Camden.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
Bear with me. Keep going. Just pausing for
All right.
dramatic effect. And the American Kaiju, Devin Sparks. Those are your two choices, okay? You get two choices. You get Mike or myself. Now, listen, parents say don't choose favorites, right? Don't choose favorites. I am telling you, you must choose a favorite. You're listening to the Hogscast Red and Black. Shout out to all my Hogs pack out there. Am I doing that right? Too sweeting myself. This is the time. It's time to decide. Now, Hoggies will be going out in the mail to the winners of the show. And Adam, even if you happen to sneak by with a win, you will absolutely be getting a Hoggy in the mail.
Is this like the fantasy football trophy you never gave me?
This is very similar to the fantasy football trophy that you will never fucking get because you've ruined my life with a dynasty that was like, what does it say? How many do you have now in my league?
I think your league's been around for 11 years and I won half of them.
That's not true. You didn't
Five
win.
or six.
You didn't win 6 of them.
No, well, I won 5
fucking
then.
Hell, man. That's so disappointing.
Yeah.
How did you bring this back to you winning fantasy football once again?
I don't know. It's football. Football. I'm in the mood for football. It's a Super Bowl this Sunday, so
it is Super Bowl Sunday. Well, bigger than Super Bowl Sunday, you have to decide who is the best hog, myself or Mike Camden. And other than that, I think we're done, brother. That's it. Let's wrap up. Unless you had something else to add.
Nope, nothing on here.
Nothing on here. Why are you texting right now?
I'm not texting anyone.
You swiping right? Okay,
nope.
Interesting.
Not texting anything.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us once again. Keep listening. Keep listening to the Hogsman Podcast OG. Listen to Hogsman Podcast, Hogscast Red and Black, and follow us online, Twitter, Instagram, at Hogsman Pod. That's not damn. You piece of shit, dude. You're a piece of shit, Adam. This is also on YouTube at Hogsman Pod. Adam has been hiding little ribs into the episode, which are not funny.
But they're funny when you're playing the rib.
They're funny when I'm playing them, but I don't have control over what happens on my own show, and that makes me very
guess what?
sad.
If you learn how to do this, you could play a rib on me.
I don't want to learn how to do that. I'm busy. Anyway, that's it. That's all we have time for today. Join us next week, and make sure you submit your votes. Submit your votes on Instagram and Twitter. Let us know who you think the winner should be of those nominees. Until next week, sayonara.